Good morning, everyone. This is Vinod, and after a long time, I'm just coming back to our Excel beginner series training program. It's been a while, and I'm a little busy with a few more YouTube channels and a few more topics, a few more requests from my subscribers, and so on. I'm sorry about that. In this week, we will finalize or finish this beginner series training. So far, we have almost completed most of our data. We are just 3 tabs away to complete our data part. The first part is I'm going to teach you how to work with the formatting and printing today. So that's what I'm planning to do today. And we have 2 more topics like charts and as well as the managing a large database. So if you can able to do these logics, I think that I can cover the entire component of the data here, and hope I'll finalize and finish this video series. It's one of the requests from my subscriber. They want to complete this point so that they get an overview of what to do with basic point, and as we can continue our Excel user series data too. Let's jump into the list. Today's video is on formatting a tab. So we're going to do the formatting part, and again I'm starting with the most heavily used formatting style called conditional formatting, and this works in almost every version of Excel. And again, I don't see any big differences or big changes in the usage of conditional formatting. And again, in our course content earlier we had formatting on text and formatting on rows and columns, and then formatting on number part, and then conditional formatting. So let me just jump into the logics here very clearly, and we can see how we can go forward from there on. So I'll take a brand new sheet in here. So as usual, I'm going to press Shift F11 to add a new sheet, and then I'm going to talk about formatting. And formatting is a very simple logic. Don't put the formatting in a very weird way. We can do them with ease. So this is what we call it as formatting. So for example, I'm just taking one of our data in here, and then I'll paste it somewhere. Okay. You can format this data by using styles in it, or you can format them by using a separate colors to it. You can use all the fonts and other stuff to make this format work better. And I preferably I'll try to use one of this list. So when I go down to this portion, you can see you have a custom component of styling is here, and we have a default styling format here called good, bad, and neutral. And then you can see the data model styling, tiles and heading styling, number format styling, and so on. So you can do any of these followings, and we have a lot of keyboard shortcuts. And this you can start using the keyboard shortcuts too. Point. So now I'm going to just use the themed cell references. So you can see as I just hover over the data part, you can see the colors are changing in here. And generally, when I try to do this, let me select the whole list because I don't know whether these are available in all the list. So now when I move it, you can see the data are moving really well. So you can format something like that. But again, I'm doing a blunt formatting in here. I'm not making it look nice or making it look neat and tidier, but we can use such a data for our headers. Generally, when I create a dynamic table, probably the headers will automatically switch, and then we can pick up the table coloring according to the styles that we have in our list, and then we can work around with that point. This is normal coloring, and again, this you can do it according to the requirement for you. So I'm just taking the whole list here. So you can see I've just taken the data in a very different way. So how do you want them? How do you display them? Matter the most, and what do you want to do with it is the key part. And I think that I like this. So this is very nice. So I can see the unwanted extra cells that I have here. So I can see almost most of the data are unwanted for me. So again, when I cut that, probably my data are not showing me properly. So I'm adjusting it accordingly. So this is my formatting options available in our general styles of Excel. But the real formatting comes when I have a data with me. That is where the data is gonna make big difference. So let me add a few numbers here. So I'll just add a number here. If you normally leave a data, you can see that the number tab says that it's a general part of it. So when I can switch to any of these lists. So I can just give a general number, currency, accounting, short date, long date, time, percentages, fractions, scientific functions, and even a text. So we have a specific logics here. So I'm going to cover major of them, not all of them. So the general tab is the default one. When I add a number tab, you can see that it is adding a decimal position for us. And if I convert this into a currency, the data going to look a little different, and it's going to be similar to currency, but again, it's going to display it differently in accounting. Probably where I can use this, for example, if I am dealing with a quantity, probably of a numerical value. Let's say, let me add some numbers here. Let me use the rand between function because that's easier for me to use because I've selected a data here. And you can see that this is the quantity part, and I'm going to give a rate and the amount. So let me just convert them into a value, and I'm going to just add again another value here. So and now I'm going to just use the multiplication symbol to get my amount. So now I got a numerical value to play around with. I'm just making the format to look better, but again, I don't deal data in this way. So for example, I want a number value here, so I can just choose the number here. And I want a rupee symbol in here, so I'm going to choose probably the currency part. And if I want the amount to be done, then I can add the accounting part here. So the data looks nice because the accounting part requires even more clearer view compared to the list. Now I want to color them, so select all of them, just add maybe an entire table color here. So you can add this as a color, but if I want the heading to be colored, then I can just add the heading colors alone. So maybe I can add a title here. Okay, title is too bigger. If you want to change it, just give a right click here and then modify it, and you can change the entire logics here. So you can just go back to the format and you can do whatever change that you wish to do with here. So I'm going to go back to my font and then just change the font as well. Give an OK, apply. So now data looks nice. Sometimes the given format will be way too big for us to see it. Again, heading 3 and 4 is nice to have as a data. Then if you want, you can add probably all border here. So the data looks nice, and you can see that if you want a table to be built in here, so you can definitely build a table. Just go back to your insert and hit a table here. So it will become a dynamic table for us. You can do a lot of formatting in here. So I'm just trying to change the font colors alone to white so that it looks even more better. And you can go to the table design and you can do a lot more in table design. I'll run a video on table designing or dynamic tables soon. And again, in a curriculum, I didn't follow that, just an instinct. So when I added all these formatting, so I felt that this would be nice if you have something like this. Better keep all your numbers on the rightmost part of your list. Don't change the formatting in here. This is always nice to view numbers on the right of your cell, text maybe on the left or in the middle of it. So that makes our data looks nice. Now I can add a short date and a long date here. So again, the formatting has 2 more dimensions here. So I'm going to just add a date here. I'm going to repeat the date by giving a control D. Now I want this as a short date. This is already in a short date. When you place the cursor, you can see that the dates are automatically switched, and you can see that when I change it to short date, it still remains the same. But when I convert this into a long date, the data are going to look a little different. You can, this is the short date for us, and this is the long date for us, and you can change custom date format too. I wish to have the day first, and I want the date, and I want the month, I want the year. When I want this is what I want. I want the day, so I'm going to give 4 Ds and give a comma. I want a day, I'm going to give 2D and a comma, and I want a month, that is a shorter version of a month, an abbreviated month, and a year. Here, if you give 3 Ys or 4 Ys, it's going to give you the answers similarly, so we won't have any big differences in a list, so you can still see the list. I want to create a custom. Again, remember, this is seldom used by many people because custom formatting is if you are creating a report by yourself and you are submitting to others, it's not being used by others. Others are not going to use your workbook. Then you can try around with the custom formatting here. If your books are shared and your books are used by many people for many different purposes, please don't try a custom formatting because people use the Excel differently. Everybody uses Excel in every different format that they can. They will not take certain logic into consideration, and some people may not be that effective enough to understand what you have done, and they don't have time either to even check what you have done. So this may create a lot of errors and mistakes for us. So when you're working in a shared environment or your workbooks are going to be shared with multiple people, think twice to use the custom format. I'm doing it for the fun here, so I'm just doing it for my sake where I can extend it better. So to convert this functionality, I'm going to use the format function. So I'm going to use control 1 to format the cell. So I'm going to place the cursor in the cell where I want it, and I will say control 1. You can see that it automatically jumps to my formatting here. This is one way we can do it, and I'm going to give a right click here and I'm going to go for my format cell. You can see this is changing the list, but what I want right now is in a format cell, I need a custom format in the list here. So I'm going to change this. So to do this custom format, I'm going to place the cursor in the number and go to the custom format, and I'm going to add the list here. So now we can see that it is giving me DD, MM, 4 Ys. If I convert, even if I cut 1 Y here, it's going to still give you the same answer. But what I want is I want TDD, that is I need 4 Ds here. So let me add a custom format here. So I'm going to just come back to customs, delete this. I'm going to give 4 Ds here first. That gives you the complete list. If you wanted a lesser one, so you can give 3 Ds here. I give a command, it's Wednesday. I want to the date, and let me add an hyphen. So I'm going to add a month and a year. So when I give an enter, you can see that the entire data have changed. So I can set this option, and again, this conditional formatting or this custom formatting will work only in this sheet in this set. So if you try to do it in some other places, you can see that when I go to control, even we don't have that because you don't see that list here. So I don't have that dimension. I didn't save it, but again at the last you can see that it's there in the list. So it's added as a new one, and I can add this seed better. Again, this works only in your workbook. So when you put it to somebody else, I don't know whether they will have it, because this is not a default function. This is something which we are giving it as a user-defined customization and user-defined custom functionalities and so on. So when you're dealing with this, so be careful with what you are doing in here. So when you're dealing with the short date and long date, that's default. When you're giving custom date, that's not a default one. We are adding it to our system. There will be a lot of things to work around with that. So this is how we work with short dates, and I'm going to deal with two more logics. One is percentage, another one is time. Again, when I work with the time, that's where the real problem comes in. For example, I'm just trying to add time here. So when I place the cursor, you can see it's a custom format. It is not a time format. When I convert this into a time format, let's see, it's going to give you hour, minute, and seconds. This is a time format for us. And you can use even a percentage here. So when you want to use a percentage here, you can do them. Again, I'm going to just add a number here and just click the percentage inside my dropdown. This gives you a decimal portion, but if I do the same on the outside of my column, it's not going to give you the decimal portion here. And you can use the numerical part. So for example, I'm going to copy and paste them in some other line here. So I'm going to select this add a rupee function, so I can see that it shows you an accounting function. This is accounting for you. And when I select this and when I give a comma, this is going to be our comma style where it looks like a number format for us. If you don't want the decimals added here, so you can add it and you can remove it. So you can do the formatting however way you wanted it to be. So you can use either the formats available outside or you can use the drop down to get the things done for us. This is our formatting on texts, another part like date, numbers, and numerical part, and so on. Now I'm going to jump to the next logic that where we can format a row and a column. So if you want a particular sheet where my columns and rows has to be a little larger than normal, I can format them. So I can go to the format option. I can set the row height here. So it gives you 15 in here. That's what the row height is mentioned here. Let's see what is the column width that we have. Again, I'm going to go back to this point. It says 8.43. I want the entire sheet to change it to 20 as our row height and 10 as our column height. Then I can just go back to this point and make it as 20. You can see the entire row is changed here. Again, it's not for the sheet. It just expanded the first cell because I didn't select the sheet completely. So I'm going to select the sheet here. And I'm going to go back to my list, row height, and then 20. So the entire row has width and the column height has to be 10. So now you can see that the data are expanded accordingly. So you can do the row and column tweaks that you want. Again, this is something which if you are looking for a larger data and if you want to have the data look better on your list, you can do that. And you can see that the default width or standard width will be 10. So you can set this as a logics in here. So that's what the row and column part comes into, and this is done for only one sheet. So I don't think the list here. I can see that the sheets are varying here. So it's not added to all my list. Let me just check it out whether this is added to my list in here or what. No, it is not. So it is only added to the new sheet, not for the other sheet. So again, you can set this for the entire workbook also if you wanted to. So you can use that in this list. This is what the row and the column formatting can do for us. And we also saw one more dimension in here, that is in our content we saw the formatting for text, rows and columns. Number formatting is what we have gone through earlier. Now I'm going to go for the conditional formatting. Let's jump to the beauty of conditional formatting. I have a data already with me here, so you can see that I have a data here, and I have 5 default conditional formattings available in Excel already. Highlight cell rules, top and bottom rules, data bar, color scale, and icon sets. And again, this is coloring of a data based on given conditions. So when I say conditional formatting allows you to color a data based on a logical test. It gives you a color if the answer satisfies. If it's not going to color your data or the selections of the data that you are going to do, it's going to uncolor it, or it will not even respond to your command. That's our false. So the logical test is going to do the thing for us. I'll take one topic detailedly, the rest of them I'll touch a little bit so that you can try by yourself, and if you have come across any difficulty in handling it, you can come at me and you can suggest me to do a video on it. I can do it, and I'm doing a very basic of it. I'm not using the new rule option here. I'm only going to go for the first 5 topics here, and only one topic I'm going to cover maximum. The rest of them I'm going to touch basically because to get a feel of it, so to get an idea of it, that's it. So I'm not going to do anything beyond that. So rule number 1, if you closely watch, I just added a list here, and I can just show you that. So now you can see that I have a list. I'm going to go and play around with the first line item here called highlight cell rules. So this is the first of the default functionality that we have here. We have 3 dimensions, or rather 4 dimensions of data that we have here. Generally the dimension of data is 3 only, but I have 4 options to build around here. The first option plays with numerical value. You can see greater than, less than, between, and equal to, and these are all literally 2 numbers. The fifth option is the text that contains. Again, this is only containing of our data. So the text may be anywhere in the data. So it may be the beginning of it, or the middle of it, or the end of it, or everywhere in the data. You can see that. So that's where text that contains comes into play. And then the next logic is data occurring. When I come to the data occurring, I'll just make it even more better, and the duplicate valuations. So whether it is a date or number or text, you name the data type, all those data types can be adjusted and properly set, whether it is a unique value or a duplicate value. We can see that very clearly here. So let's do it. And when I want to deal with a conditional formatting, the thumb rule of conditional formatting is please select the area where you want to add your conditional formatting. Without selecting an area, doing a conditional formatting may not give you a great result that you're looking forward for. So for example, I have four fields here. So I have a date field here, I have a product field here, I have a number field here. So I'm going to touch all of them using this list. Again, when I come to the date format, I'm going to just tweak a bit because date has some curtailed in it. And again, this is going to be our best process of handling conditional formatting here. Again, I won't say always the best, but again, you can, if you try this, this is the easiest way to check whether your conditional formatting works or not. I'm going to make a cell references for my conditional formatting, and I'll tell you what is that in a much detailed manner as we go forward. So first, I'm going to find out whether any of my net sales is above 1500 rupees. So if that is so, I'm going to just color them in this pattern. That is, I'm going to just say give a dark green background and a white bold font. This is what I want to color it in here. To do that, I'm going to just go back to the conditional formatting after selection and select the highlight cell rules and say greater than. Immediately it pops up a small box to me and says that it gives a value by itself, but I don't want a value given by that, nor I'm going to feed the value here, because if I feed the value, if I want to correct this logic, then I have to come back to this place again to correct it. So to make my life a little more easier, I'm going to refer a cell here. I'm going to just click this. You can see that automatically it gives you an absolute cell reference in our list. If you don't know what is an absolute cell reference, please go and refer my cell references video. You get a clean idea. Again, I told you earlier, the coloring is going to be done in a particular format. That is, I'm going to give a green dark background and a white and a bold font. And I have a drop down to color it here. When I go to drop down, I have a green fill and a dark green text. I don't see the dark green background and a white bold font. So if you wish to choose any of this list, you can do them. So you can just, when I scroll around, you can see that the data comes into play, but I'm going to choose this as an option. So I'm going to use custom font. I love this always. And I go back to my fill, add a dark green and a font, add it bold and make it white. Now we can see that the values are colored here. So now if you closely watch, all the values that is colored in here are green, which is above 1500. So if I change this to 2500, the colors is going to change. And if you change it to 3500, 4500, 750. So you can see that the colors are changing as I feed the value. That's why I refer the cell. And if you closely watch, when I change some number in here, the other cell is also getting changed. Because I refer the cell in here, I'm going to give an F2, so you can see that I refer G7 here. Whatever number that I type on the greater than point, I can do the same on the lesson part. When I deal with conditional formatting, please, I request you all, don't use too much of conditional formatting in one range. I preferably say the maximum number that you can go is 2, but in some kind or in some situation, we may need a third dimension of that data. So don't go beyond 3. 2 itself is a little hectic for us to find out, but going beyond 2, you can go maximum of 3. Don't go beyond that, then you don't even know what you have done, because some data might exactly match your content. Now I wish to change this color. I don't want a green in it. I wish to have a maybe navy blue. So I'm going to select this or a dark blue. So I'm not good at colors. I'm sorry about that if I'm telling it wrongly. Yeah, it is a dark blue. That's right. And I want that to be happen here. Now it is green now. I just changed the content in here, not the condition here. So I'm going to select the whole range. Go back to the condition formatting. I'm going to use manage rules and edit the rule and change the colors alone to dark blue or navy blue in a normal content. So now I can see that better. I changed it because the blue and red combination works always nice. It doesn't poke your eyes. It'll make your life a little more easier. If you are green and it's gonna really swallow your eyes, um, it's gonna kill you. So it's better to have a darker combination, and contrasting colors are always nice. So now I'm going to choose the same range again, and I'm going to add the next functionality. So I'll go back to my condition formatting, highlight cell rules less than, and I'm going to just choose the cell and change the formatting as I mentioned the less than part. So I'm going to take up a red and the white bold font. Now, even though it is really hitting your eyes and swallowing your eyes, still you won't feel it back. So now if I reduce the numbers here, the red grows bigger. If I reduce or increase the numbers here, the red grows bigger. You can see that both the formulas are simultaneously uh, helping each other, so that it gives you the answer exactly what you are looking forward for. This is highlight cell rules number format. Now I'm going to deal with uh, text formatting. So I'm going to select the second range here. I go back to the list and I'm going to say contains. Again, in these two formulas, I have the privilege of choosing the cell references. Yeah. I can type and as well as I can choose. But in the later options, we may not have an option of typing things or choosing things. So enhance these two things as much as you can. So that's going to give you a big list. So I'm going to select this point. I'm going to color them in this way. So I don't have that here. Custom formatting and orange with a bold black font. See, wherever I have ELL, that comes into play. And when I deal with text functionality, the wonder of text functionality in conditional formatting is this is not a case sensitive. Whether you give capital, whether you give all small, whether you give a proper text, it doesn't matter for Excel. It's going to give you the answer correctly. Let me just make it very clearly. So I'm going to just give you a B. You see all the B's are there. I'm going to give a small b. It still works. Even if my values are jumbled, still it's going to give you that font. So I'm going to say B, then E. So I've just made capital first, small later. I'm going to say B, E. Even a jumbled character is going to give you the answer for us. So I'm going to say Q. I'm going to say Q. I'm going to say QU normally, and I'm going to say QU normally. So the colors don't change because this is not case sensitive, and it's not going to kill you. So just as long as these two words are in particular order as you have given in the condition, if it matches in your data packet, it's going to color that art for you correctly. So this is not a case sensitive point. So hope you learned it. And one more logic that I'm going to do right now is this is where my freedoms of using a cell references is curtailed, and I think that I'm done. Let's see how to do that. So for this, I'm going to use the date function. So before I select the date function and the date point, let me see what the date function is going to offer me. You can see that I don't have an option of selecting anymore. I have to take any of these given data, and the maximum is 3 months, maybe 1 month forward and 1 month backward. So I cannot go beyond than that. So now I am in June. So if I try to put this date in place, nothing happens in my list because I'm in June 19, 2020, and I need to have a data between May to July. So let me just make it a date which is relevant. So 19/5/2020. Then I'm going to just add some dates here, not a continuous date. I'm going to just add maybe 5 days a week. So that jumps down until July. That's now good. Select all of them, and I am curtailed right now, so I have to choose any one of them from the drop down. I'm going to say I want all the next month dates, and I'm going to color them again using the orange and black background. So take the orange background, black, bold, black font. The problem now I have is if I try to edit this. Earlier, when I want to edit, I don't have a problem. I will just choose the cell above, just change the numbers, change whatever I want. I get the changing, or I can see the changes happens in my data. If I want to change right now, this is the real hardest part in conditional formatting, that I need to go back to the list. So I have to select the data first. Remember, without selecting, you cannot edit that. Go back to the conditional formatting, manage rules, edit rules, and then change this to the previous month. And this is the only way we can alter it. So this is a little kind of frustrating, but again, that's how it is built for a long time now. So if this is also a cell reference based one, instead of being a drop down stuff, probably we would have done a phenomenal job. Again, this is not a default option, but in a new rule option, or if you are going to try to add a date by yourself, then you can use a new rule anyways. You have the option of doing it in a new rule, but again, if this is a default rule, that would be nice. And if Microsoft by any chance sees this video, and if they are so keen to do something better, so probably that is nice. If you add a field list, or if I can able to choose the dates here, because we play a lot of data with dates. So if we have such things as a default option in conditional formatting, that would be really appreciated one. At the moment we don't have it, I think so. So hope we move on with this data, and we will try to learn the new rule and apply it. But in the future, if I get something to do that, then I'll be very, very happy, because I can able to do in a number, I can do that in a text. Why can't I do that in a date too? So back and forth, or starting from this, starting from ending at this, if something like that is there, that is even more better to work on. So let's do one more logic. So I'm going to do the last one in here, because the video is going to become very bigger. So I'm going to make it into 2 splits. So I'll give the other 4 in the subsequent video immediately after following this video. So next logic is I'm going to just select one of the data, and I'm going to use the last option of our conditional formatting, highlight to cell rules, is duplicate value. Again, this makes sense, because I can either have a duplicate or an original data here. That looks nice. That makes sense, and I really appreciate that. So this is okay. This is fine. Again, I don't want any manual selection like I asked for the date earlier. But again, this is nice. So when I choose a unique field here, I can color the unique fields by the selection. So now you can see that all my unique fields are there. If you see, these are the names have not repeated more than once, or all colored. So we're going to continue our conditional formatting video in the subsequent point, in the top and bottom. As the videos are becoming a little bigger and larger, people don't have the patience to watch them. So I'm breaking that into 2 different videos. I would have done this in one shot, but again, I wish to have it in 2 different points. Once you are ready with this data, so probably you can enjoy the other one also. Hope you learned a new topic, and I will conclude the conditional formatting in the subsequent video. And this weekend, I'll try to conclude the basic series that we go through in our list. In today's point, we saw how to work with formatting of data in Excel with number, rows, columns, and so on. So hope you enjoyed my video. And this is Vinod signing out from myself Academy and Excel Snippet, your beginner series program, video number 14. Stay safe, keep updating. Let's finish the beginner series and continue our user series furthermore. Thank you so much. This is Vinod signing out.